Paul Braham, on his way, off about the business of his day. And the business of his day, now in retirement, is mostly about lions and all the things that lions do. Tony Melady is with me, gardener, man for whom wildlife matters. You're very welcome, Tony.
Thank you, Ron.
And you may have noticed this morning when you come out just after dawn, the moon, the new moon with the old moon in its arms. There it was, on the hanging above the eastern horizon, and it was there, indicating the clarity of sky last night and the first real cold weather of the winter time. And it struck me in this way, Tony's here. In our gardens, we very often have ponds. We have fish in the ponds. We have maybe we're keeping chickens in the garden. Maybe we're keeping rabbits in the garden. All of these things. The flora and the fauna of our wild regime at this time of year, they take a bit of a beating, Tony.
Yeah, well, everything's preparing for the winter now, for the hibernation, and everything is slowing down. All the little animals are preparing to hibernate, and others are seeking refuge out of the bad weather that will be coming. And as you can see, all the leaves are coming off the trees. As soon as the little animals and insects, everything sees the leaves turning orange, that's the time to prepare for the winter.
Yeah, there's a kind of a biological trigger there that drives them to sort themselves out and make themselves comfortable.
Yeah, it's like you going out and buying a scarf and a pair of gloves.
Yes, that's what they'll do. Yeah. But your own garden, you're looking at, you have a pond in it, you've got frogs, you've got fish in the pond. But I mean, those fish are bound to die over the cold weather. How do they survive?
Well, the depth of the pond is very important. They're only small fish, and when you have small fish, small little goldfish, say ordinary goldfish, all you need is 18 inches to 2 foot of water, because at a certain depth of water, the water temperature stays the same, no matter if it's iced over on the top or anything like that, you know. So the water, they just go down to the bottom of the pond, and they'll just, as you say, slow down for the winter and just see out the winter down there, you know.
Cruise down there and be quiet and relaxed down there.
That's it. So the temperature's the same.
Yeah, so you could be in a situation where you would have a family of fish there year on year on year in the pond.
Yeah, they breed every year. You put goldfish in a pond and they'll breed every year.
They breed, yeah. You've actually seen breeding occur in your pond.
Yeah.
You've had new goldfish in.
Yeah, goldfish every year.
It's a wonderful thing for children to see. Obviously the pond will always be equipped properly and safely, and there won't be a danger element there.
Well, that's the main thing about it. If you have a pond in the garden, is the safety issue with children. That is the ultimate thing to be looking out for, you know. It's just because no matter what depth of water you have in any garden, children are deadly. They're just like magnets to water, they are, you know. So you have to take the proper precautions that they cannot get near the water. It's vitally important, you know. But saying that, it's a great learning tool for children as well. They come through the seasons, they'll see the frogs come back in the spring, and the spawn being produced, and the tadpoles, and you'll see all the pond skaters, the newts, everything. You just build water, put water in the garden, and wildlife will find it. Especially if there's other ponds in the area, you know. But wildlife will come to it. Dragonflies, mayflies, everything, you know.
Yeah, it's
a beautiful addition, and it's great for birds and hedgehogs and everything like that to come and get the water out of it, because this time of year, coming into the winter time, vitally important that people put out food for birds and stuff like that, but also to put water out. Fresh water is every day birds need that to preen their feathers, to drink, and it's a must in the garden for animals.
A bad winter can take out a lot of the population of bird life.
They can, and that's it. It's a great thing now in the cities. They come into the cities more so because of the heat of the city as well, and also because people are feeding them. They're putting out nuts, seeds, everything like that for the birds, and they're ready and accessible in any of the cheap shops. You get lovely bird things, and you'll be amazed the amount of birds that come to your garden when you start putting things out. But as I say, you have to put water out for them also. Like I have them hanging out in my window, just outside the bedroom window, and the starlings that flock to it, and the blue tits, the robins even come and pick at it, you know, underneath it, and there's every type of bird comes to it, and it's amazing for the children just to watch every day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your little Molly, your daughter Molly, bless her, she's getting great value from that.
Oh yeah, she loves the garden. Any day she gets up, she just wants to be in the
wants
garden.
in the garden, yeah.
You know, no matter what the weather, especially if it's raining.
She loves if it's raining. If it's raining.
She loves getting out of the garden, especially muddy puddles. You know.
Muddy puddles, yeah.
I think she's
yeah.
Peppa Pig or something. But
Well, what about livestock in the garden? You have a couple of rabbits, I believe.
I have rabbits. Yeah, I just got them for the children as well to learn how to clean and to feed, to look after animals, you know, because that's a fairly important thing. If you're buying any type of animal, a child has to understand they have to clean them. There's no point, as you say, having a dog for Christmas or something like that. Yeah, it's a long-term investment when you get an animal, you know, and you have to look how long they're going to last, and you have to teach the children how to look after them, because I'm certainly not going to go out there
Yeah.
week in and week out.
Is it your experience that there is a natural draw within children to look after animals and to want to be close to them?
There's a great curiosity for children, you know. To watch any type of animal, it's an amazing. Bring them anywhere, the joy on their faces. And it gives their imagination. Like there's bird boxes where you'd have the birds coming in, and this is the time of year now. If you have a bird box and you had blue tits or whatever in it last year, it's time to clean out the bird box, take out the nest, and dispose of that nest, and just clean the box and put it back up for them. And
will they come during the winter time and nest?
well, birds will roost in boxes in very cold weather. Sometimes you'll get wrens, and they'll come and they'll all pack themselves together inside a bird
Tiny
box.
little,
the smallest little wrens,
bird,
they all pack themselves to keep warm in the winter time in bird boxes. You know, they're amazing little birds. But if you do have a nest and you don't mind, if you want to look after bumblebees as well, which bumblebees don't sting unless you really harass them, you know.
Yeah.
And if you have a safe enough garden, you can dig a little hole out in the garden the size of, say, a punctured football. You know the way you'd have some size like that, and put the nest into it, the old bird's nest into it, and then put a stone over it with a little gap in it, a little small gap, and the bumblebees will make a nest in that. That's happy days for them. Yeah, for next year they'll and bumblebees, unless you stick your head down into that nest and start breathing, they don't like your breath in their nest. But other than that, bumblebees won't go near you at all, and they're crucial for nature.
Yeah.
And likewise around the garden, you have all your slugs and snails, all them wonderful things that the thrushes and blackbirds eat off the ground and things like that. I have a troll in my back garden who looks after all my slugs. So
a what?
A troll.
What's a troll?
A little small Scandinavian creature, you know.
Oh, you have a statue?
No. I built a house now. You see, I build these things, I put them in as garden follies, you know. Garden follies for people, but they're great for wildlife and nature and things like that, you know. But I build them out of stone, these little small things, and it's great fascination for children to go down and look. And I have a little chimney that works, a little smoke comes out of the chimney, and I have chimes inside it so there's noise and everything. I'm building them down for one of the local nurseries down the road there now.
Fantastic.
And so I put in fairy houses and things like that. But when I build off fairy houses like that for the children, they love them. But I build them with nature in mind, where nature can hibernate and use them and stuff like that. And it's great. They're little follies for your garden, you know.
But you know, the world is your oyster in terms of gathering things in for the garden, because you will, wherever you go, you'll be looking on beaches, you'll be looking in forests for knotted wood lying there. All that sort of stuff is grist to your mill. Yeah, everything is beautiful once you have it in the garden. As you say, you're just mentioning knotted wood there. A fantastic thing to do this time of year is to make a little log pile in the garden. And that will encourage insects, it'll encourage like hedgehogs. That's another thing, bonfires, you have to look out for your hedgehogs and things like that this time of year, and the leaf piles and things like that. But a little log pile will house a multitude of wildlife, little insects, slugs, and all the birds and everything will flock to that and eat and feast on it throughout the winter and in the springtime also, you know. And it's great for the children to be lifting up the logs and seeing the little scary things as they like to pick them up and hold them in their hands, you know. What you're describing here is a lifestyle thing. I think it's something that we all grew up with when we were small, and I think it's just being put by the wayside now with computers and television and things like that. I don't think children are spending as much time in the outdoors as they used to, hence the obesity and things as well. Also, like this, I think years ago, like when I was a kid, we didn't have television as such, you know.
grew up in the 70s and stuff like that, and the garden was a place to play with your friends and stuff like that, and there's great adventures to be had, and you used your imagination, built little huts and everything like that. But when building them things, they were great for wildlife as well. They learned in the latter years, and hedgerows, the things you used to find in hedgerows and whatnot. You know, it's something that's kind of on the wane that needs to be encouraged with children and brought back, and it's very simple to do by just doing simple things like that, putting out logs in the back garden or mulching and leaves. Don't tidy up your garden too much. Leave it a little bit wild, you know.
And you don't need to have an immediate store of great expertise. You can grow your skill as the time passes by.
That's it. And people are natural. Some people are just natural wildlife gardeners because they just don't go near the garden. But you don't want to leave it too bad, you know. But there is a small bit of maintenance. But you know, ivy is a fabulous plant to have growing on the wall or up trees. It's the berries are only starting to come on the ivy now, the ivy plant now, and the birds will feast on them throughout the winter. Yeah. You have a run of the mountain ash, like the rowan tree, which is mountain ash, the red berries, you see all the clusters of them. They're all off now, and then you'll have the elderberry, which they're just finishing now, and the end of the hawthorn berry is just finishing now, and then the ivy berry will take over, and nature just looks after itself in that way, and it will feed its wildlife.
And of course, just bearing in mind too the education end of it, that children know that they don't feed themselves the berries.
Oh yes,
and it's a constant. It develops a good communication stream between children and parents. The parents educating the children in the safe ways of the garden.
Yeah, and they say if you're not 100% sure, you don't go near it. But there's lots of information, lots of people who are more than willing to tell you about wildlife things, wildlife matters. Just if you look in books on the internet, but there's plenty of people who have that knowledge. Older people will tell you all about the berries and tell you fascinating stories as well, and little local legends and things like that. It's things that are being forgotten. They need to be brought back, and
that's a good way for us to leave it this morning. And you're back to your garden today to make sure everything's as it should be there. Yeah,
I'm just starting to get some things for this nursery down here. I'm putting in a garden for them.
Where is that happening?
Well, I'm doing it down the Happy Days nursery.
Oh, wonderful.
Down the meadow. It's where my little girl goes to. So I said to Peter there, I said, I'll build you a little troll house and fairy house and everything for the children, you know. And he's delighted. So when it's built, I'll show you a picture.
Go out. Take care. God bless you. We'll play you some music now. Sure. That's Tony Melady, Nature Matters, and a keen man in the garden.